Is a winning streak in rock, paper, scissors really anything more than luck? Rock, paper, scissors, also known as Ro-Sham-Bo, is often used as an appropriate choosing method between two people, similar to coin flipping or throwing dice to settle a dispute or reach an unbiased decision. Rock, paper, scissors can be played with a degree of skill by recognizing and exploiting non-random behavior in opponents. This game is beneficial in determining who will grab the last slice of pizza. P.S. The one with siblings will better understand this. Well, everyone thinks that winning in rock, paper, scissors is just a matter of luck. While playing, every person wishes to have the power of reading the opponent's minds to win the game. Very few people know that this game involves an understanding of psychology. Losers tend to switch to a different action, and they do so in order of the name of the game, moving from rock to paper to scissors. There were two cousins, X and Y, who were fighting over the last slice of pizza. As they were unable to conclude, they thought of solving this by playing stone, paper, scissors. X was acquainted with the psychology used in playing the game. He asked Y whether he had played the game before or not. He did so to understand which method to apply in this game to grab the last slice of pizza. There are techniques of winning this game, but that depends upon whether the opponent is a rookie or a pro. Y replied that he was new to this game and had played this game rarely. After listening to this, X thought of the methods to play this game to win. Method 1. Playing a rookie or a beginner. Throw paper against a male opponent. Inexperienced males statistically lead with rock most often for their first move in the game. By throwing paper on your first move against them, you will likely win. Rock is the statistically most often thrown move at 35.4%. Throw rock against a female opponent. Most women tend to lead with scissors, so if you throw out a rock on the game's first play, you can beat your opponent. Scissors are the least often used throw with only a 29.6% chance of being thrown in a rock, paper, scissors game. Look for your opponent using the same move twice in a row. If your opponent plays the same action twice in a row, they are not likely to use it a third time, so you can assume they won't throw that move. Put out a move that will give you either a win or stalemate, guaranteeing you won't lose. For example, if your opponent throws out scissors twice in a row, you can assume they won't play it a third time. They'll either play rock or paper. You should then throw paper because it will beat your opponent's rock or be a stalemate against their paper. Suggest a throw to your opponent when explaining the game. If your rookie opponent needs a quick review of the rules, use hand gestures to suggest their first move subconsciously. For example, when explaining that rock beats scissors, use the scissors gesture to show this instead of rock, and then use the scissors gesture in your opponent's mind and likely subconsciously play it first. Be prepared with a rock move to beat them. After playing several times, when all the matches were a tie, and by examining the way Y was playing, X realized that Y was not a beginner. He lied to win so that X thinks that he is a beginner and applies a weak strategy. After analyzing the game plan of Y, X thought of changing his approach. He now thought of the technique that should be used while playing with an experienced player. Method 2. Playing skilled opponents. play scissors or rock in the first round. Experienced players won't throw a rock for their first move, so you should lead with scissors. This way, you can beat their paper or tie if they also lead with scissors. Experienced players also think that beginners would most likely set down a rock to do paper, and scissors beat papers, so that would be a good move. The switch moves if you lose. If your opponent won a round, you have to predict whether they would use that move again or do a different one depending on their skill level. Beginner, probably the same action. Medium, they would most likely pull a rock. Expert, most likely scissors or whatever moves you used last time. They want to surprise you. So for example, if you did scissors and they beat you with the rock, chances are they're doing scissors next, so prepare to do rock. For example, if your opponent just beat you with a rock, you should switch your next move to paper to beat the rock that your opponent will likely use again. Look for tells. Opponents often have told in the way they position their hands that will let you know what move they might be thinking about. For example, a tucked thumb in the index finger's crook suggests that your opponent will throw a rock. A loose hand is usually going to result in the paper. A hand that has the first two fingers loose is likely going to be scissors. Announce your throw. Tell your opponent that you're going to use a rock move. Telling your opponent your next move will have them thinking that you won't throw that move. Then when you do throw that move, you'll have a greater chance of beating them since they weren't expecting it. But if you keep doing it, they'll figure it out. Maybe once or twice, but no more. If you're not playing an experienced player, they'll probably think you're throwing what you announced. For example, tell your opponent you're going to throw a rock. Since your opponent thinks you won't lead with a rock, they'll assume you're going to play paper or scissors. Your opponent will then likely play scissors or rock to beat your paper or scissors. Then when you play rock, you either beat their scissors or draw a stalemate to their rock. In either case, you don't lose. Watch your opponent's frustration. If your opponent is repeatedly losing, they're more likely to throw the rock, since this is symbolically a very aggressive option that players rely on when losing. On the other hand, the paper is seen as the most passive move, so you won't expect this from an opponent who's losing. Go for the paper to win by statistics. When you're at a loss of what to do, throw paper, because scissors are the statistically least often thrown move, and because the rock is the most frequently thrown move, the paper is the best way to go. Paper will beat rock, which is the most commonly thrown move. Scissors can beat paper, but because it's the least often thrown move, losing is much less likely. After applying this strategy, he won at last and grabbed that last slice of pizza. Yay! Then after winning the game, X gave a tip to Y. Tip. Therefore, this is the best way to win at rock, paper, scissors. If you lose the first round, switch to the move that beats the thing your opponent just played. If you win, don't keep playing the same move, but instead switch to the thing that would beat the thing that you just played. In other words, play the move your losing opponent just played. Do it. If you win a round using a rock, move against someone else. Scissors move. They are about to switch to paper, so you should switch to scissors. So now you are very well aware of the tricks and moves of this traditional game. Use these tricks to assure your win and let bewilder your friends with your every win. Stay tuned with us to get such interesting content and let us know down below how frequently you win after knowing the trick.